Twitter has now lost legal indemnity in India because of its failure to comply with the new rules requiring to appoint key officers in India. This is what government sources are telling you. Akhilesh, what does this mean for Twitter?
Well, it means that Twitter is no more an intermediary and now is liable for any penal action for any third-party user content, and that is what has happened exactly in the Loni case, where some people have actually posted some tweets, and those tweets were not only misleading but also, they were capable of disturbing the communal harmony. This is what the UP police says, and that is why an FIR has been registered naming Twitter also. And the ministry sources are telling us that the Twitter was given a last opportunity on June 5th. On June 5th, the ministry had written a letter to Twitter saying that it should comply by the new IT rules, but Twitter has failed to comply by those rules. On 6th of June, Twitter has written to the ministry saying that within a week it will comply by the new IT rules and will appoint the chief compliance officer. Twitter is now saying that it has appointed one interim chief compliance officer, but it has not informed the ministry about this appointment, and that is why the ministry sources are telling us that Twitter has now lost the legal shield and it is liable for any content which is like posted by any other user, and that is why this action has been taken by the UP police.
All right, well, we're going to keep a close watch on both those stories. Action there taken against Twitter by the Uttar Pradesh police. An FIR has been filed against Twitter and others. Meanwhile, sources in the government saying that Twitter could very well have lost its legal shield. What does this mean for the social media giant, and what reactions really come in from Twitter? We'll monitor all of those developments very closely. Thanks, Akhilesh, for joining us for the very latest. Well, on to now the big political story today. Bengal Governor Jagdeep Dhankar is in New Delhi. He's probably going to be meeting the Home Minister, possibly even the Prime Minister. The government left New Delhi last evening after kicking up a huge storm by going public with a stern letter to Chief Minister Mamta Banerjee on allegations of post-poll violence. The Home Department of the state tweeted its outrage late last night, accusing the governor of fabricating allegations of such violence. Now, in his letter, the governor has called the post-poll violence in Bengal the worst since independence. The Bengal government said that the violence took place under the EC's watch. Let's go right across to my colleague Manideepa tracking the details of the story. Manideepa, the war between the governor and the chief minister has only intensified. And now, interesting timing because the governor is in Delhi today.
That's right, and as of now we still don't know what exactly his program is. He's here from last night till 18th of June, so that is at least a full 2 days that he'll be in the capital. Is he likely to meet the Home Minister? Is he likely to meet the Prime Minister? Speculation is yes, though there is no confirmation. And what would the meetings be about? Clearly, given the way he released his letter to the Chief Minister publicly last afternoon, indication is that the contents of that letter may be part of his discussions with whoever he meets in Delhi, and the contents are not flattering to Chief Minister Mamta Banerjee. But late last evening, the Home Department of West Bengal again put out the series of 5 tweets in which it attacked the governor, saying that he had fabricated the contents and that, the way he had released them to the public was shocking. This latest round of war between the governor and the chief minister had begun on the 5th of May, the day Mamta Banerjee was sworn in as chief minister for the 3rd time. At the oath-taking ceremony, Mamta Banerjee, after taking the oath, had said a few words. The governor had, chimed in. He had taken the mic, spoken about how instead of just COVID, Mamta Banerjee should also focus on post-poll violence. Mamta Banerjee had retorted to that, and this war has been snowballing, and it could turn into something much bigger than we expect. There is, of course, the West Bengal government, which, privately perhaps wants the governor out of Bengal, but he has another 2-year tenure, and this war seems unlikely to settle down just yet.
All right, Manideepa, appreciate you for joining us with the very latest. Meanwhile, let's shift our focus now to breaking news coming in. The latest COVID numbers for the last 24 hours are out, and India has seen 62,224 new coronavirus cases in 24 hours. Deaths still continue to remain high, above 2,500. The vaccinations in the last 24 hours have dipped compared to the previous day. 28 lakh people have been vaccinated and 19 lakh people have been tested for COVID. The positivity rate has further dipped to 3.2%, and it is now for the 9th consecutive day that India is reporting a positivity rate of below 5%. So that's the latest COVID numbers. But as far as vaccinations are concerned, well, it continues to remain a cause of concern. COVID vaccination for the 18 to 44 age group has once again been hit in Delhi, with half of the government's vaccination centres for this age group closed from Tuesday, and the remaining half of the vaccination centres will also be shut from today. Now, Delhi, remember, had resumed COVID-19 vaccines for the 18 to 44 age group only 6 days ago after being out of stock for 2 weeks. The Aam Aadmi Party government has appealed to the centre to provide the requisite doses. Let's go right across to Sonakshi, tracking the details of this story. Sonakshi, it is a worrying development because vaccine centres were open just in the last week, and once again, due to a shortage of vaccine supply, the 18 to 44 vaccination category has been hit.
Well, like you rightly pointed out, Rishika, the vaccination and getting people vaccinated continues to remain a cause of concern. Now, why is this a cause of concern? The answer is very simple. It is because of the vaccine shortage. Remember, between the Delhi government and the centre, there has been a lot of back and forth. The Delhi government, the Aam Aadmi Party, has continuously written to the centre, with the Chief Minister, in fact, even writing to the Prime Minister a couple of times, citing the problem that they need to get people vaccinated. Now, just 6 days ago, vaccination had resumed in the national capital after being out of stock of vaccine for nearly 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks in fact. But now, with the 18 to 44 age group vaccination opening up, it has been hit again in the national capital because there are no vaccines left. This is also coming at a time when students, remember, are hugely hit with this. A lot of students have to fly abroad for their higher studies. There are a lot of people who seek jobs outside of the country. They need to get vaccinated. And for these people, for this category of people, vaccination is a mandatory. Getting fully vaccinated is mandatory.
Right.
So yes, the vaccination process in the national capital has been hit again, with the Aam Aadmi Party MLA Atishi saying that the centre must, at the soonest, at the earliest, provide vaccines.
A very good morning. Let's get you a quick check on the monsoon. Let's track the monsoon. At the moment, the northern limit of the monsoon is crossing Barabanki, Bareilly and Saharanpur. It's also crossing Amritsar and Ambala in Punjab, and the monsoon somehow seems to be stuck in Diu as well as Surat. It has been stuck also in parts of Bhopal, that's in Madhya Pradesh. However, monsoon this time around progressed very rapidly. It entered Kerala on the 3rd of this month, and since then it has covered most parts of the country. In fact, 80% of the country has been covered in a matter of almost 2 weeks. Monsoon was meant to reach Delhi, but it has yet to cover parts of West Uttar Pradesh. At the moment, it's stuck in the eastern part of Uttar Pradesh. Once it covers Uttar Pradesh entirely is when it's expected to make it to the national capital, and that was expected around the 15th of this month, and that was given due to the circumstances that they were seeing the progress of the monsoon was very, very rapid throughout most parts of the country, and they had said that monsoon will cover the northern part. It has covered the hilly areas, the entire hilly areas. It has in fact also covered parts of Punjab and some parts of Haryana. It is in fact expected in Delhi, but will it come in as soon as possible? Well, we don't know. The IMD is still watching the situation. However, SkyMet has said that monsoon will arrive in Delhi on its usual date. Now, till about 2019, monsoon would reach Delhi around the 29th of this month, but that was revised to the 27th in the last 2 years. So now, if we take into account that the usual date is the 27th, and that is what SkyMet is saying, that monsoon will be in Delhi around its usual date, and it will not make its entry into Delhi anytime soon. However, when we talk about last year, monsoon was in Delhi last year around the 25th, which was even earlier than time. But in 2019, monsoon in Delhi reached around as late as the 5th of July. So monsoon can get delayed. It can come early. As you can see, it's covered most parts of the country. Let's also talk about where all it will be raining, given that monsoon is very active. We have areas of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, as well as most parts. In fact, it's raining most parts of the country, the west coast, as well as you can see along the northeastern part of the country. Lots of showers expected. We are expecting it to rain heavily in Madhya Pradesh as well, also parts of Uttar Pradesh. When we take into account Delhi's weather, thunderstorm and rain expected today with a maximum of 36 degrees. And we also have light showers coming in tomorrow. But there is a chance of a low pressure area that continues to persist in these areas, which is why showers are expected. However, a word of caution to the people, lightning and thunder is expected in many parts of the country, and that is where people need to be watchful and careful, especially animals and human beings who are outdoors, so they should try and take shelter at those times when lightning strikes. With that, we're slipping away short break. News and updates will continue on the other side with Rishika. Stay with us.
Welcome back to our special campaign, Vaccinate India, in partnership with Google. We're discussing questions you may have about the COVID-19 vaccine. We take to Google so many times to seek answers to these questions. Today, we have an expert doctor to take on these questions. Dr. Sandeep Diwan, Director Critical Care, Fortis Memorial Research Institute, is with us. Thanks, Dr. Diwan, for being with us on NDTV. I want to begin by asking you about the effectiveness of the COVID-19 vaccine. This is a recurring question given the fact that there are new variants of COVID-19 that emerge. There is discussion around dosing gaps of the vaccine. So how effective is it?
Good morning, everybody, and thanks for bringing me on the show. See, why do we vaccinate ourselves? You understand, we vaccinate for two reasons. We want to avoid the disease, and second, we also want to limit the severity of the disease. Okay? Now, if you look at the COVID vaccines, and all of them are available wherever they are in the market, in India or outside, the first aim, which is to avoid the disease from infecting the people, efficacy ranges between 60 to 80%. And if you compare it with other vaccines, whether the H1N1 vaccine, which we have been taking for the last 10 years, or flu shot that people take every year, the efficacy is same to about 60 to 80%. So we are looking at a very good efficacy rate of the vaccine, point number one. Second, even if you have a 30 to 40% chance of getting infected in spite of vaccine, there's a very high likelihood that the symptoms will be limited to mild. And please understand, only severe patients will die. Mild to moderate cases either are treated at home or require some sort of mild hospitalization. So we are getting both benefits with the vaccine. One, obviously the efficacy and decreased transmission. And second, limiting the symptoms to mild, which is actually a very, very important part of the vaccination program.
You know, speaking of vaccine efficacy, vaccine effectiveness, I think the people who have more number of questions are those with a history of an ailment or an illness, or those individuals who are considered immunocompromised. How effective is the COVID-19 vaccine in immunocompromised individuals?
So, in fact, we recommend that immunocompromised patients should take, because a disease which may be mild for you and me will come as a severe disease for a patient who is immunocompromised. Because see, they are immunocompromised because their body does not have the adequate antibodies to fight the illness.
Right.
So these kind of patients, in fact, would be more benefited with the vaccine. And they should in fact take these things hands on, because they are anyways at higher risk, and even if the disease infects them, it will actually come in a very bad way. So immunocompromised patients should go for it.
Right. I think the other important question that a lot of people, often take to Google to find answers to is self-care during COVID. If you're infected with COVID, you have mild infection and you're recovering and recuperating at home, what is the rule book? What are some of the do's and don'ts?
See, the do's are obviously you take what we call as COVID behavior, and the COVID behavior, which is called as COVID appropriate behavior, has to be applied both to the family members and to the patient. That's the point number one. You obviously self-isolate yourself in a room, and your daily activities, whatever they are, you are bound in that room for that particular period of time. Most important, please be under the instruction of a doctor. I'll tell you why. The rest, all data is available in the public domain, but our clinical experience this year has shown that this time the virus is far, far different from what we had seen last year in India. Last year, after 14 days, we were able to give a clean chit to the patients. At this point of time, in spite of becoming corona negative, a lot of patients are coming back with recurrence of symptoms. Although we investigate them, they're still negative, but the symptoms persist. Odd fever, odd rise in platelets, some odd lab investigations are not, some breathing difficulty. So this time the illness is actually prolonging the recovery time much more than the previous year. So my strongest advice would be that once you're corona negative, please don't leave your medical doctor. Be under their supervision, because they know what things can go wrong. And the data now clearly shows in the medical literature that it can take as long as 3 to 6 months for respiratory and heart issues to resolve. So that's why it's very, very important.
So even if you are in home care, it's important to be under medical supervision. So you have to consult your doctor. And I think the other very important advice that a lot of doctors have given here on the show, of course, is that do not self-medicate. Thank you so much, doctor, for sparing your time and being with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, on to the other big story we're tracking today. Sister Lucy, one of the dismissed nuns who joined protests against rape-accused Bishop Franco, has in fact received an order to vacate the hostel by the FC Catholic congregation. Sneha has all the details. She in fact caught up with Sister Lucy. Sneha.
Well, thank you, Rishika. Good morning to our viewers. One of the sisters, one of the nuns in Kerala, Sister Lucy, has been dismissed from the Franciscan Clarist congregation. That's a Catholic congregation. The congregation has said it's on disciplinary grounds, but she's also among the very few nuns who came out and protested against rape-accused Bishop Franco Mulakal, who's currently being tried in courts for these charges. Joining us right now currently is Sister Lucy. Thank you for talking to NDTV. First question to you, Sister Lucy. Your appeals against your dismissal have been rejected according to the Catholic congregation. You've used all the levels of redressal that you could. All of them have been rejected. How do you see this now that you've also got a notice for vacating the convent?
Yes, as you know, there is only 3 chances to appeal to the Supreme Tribunal. So I have used that all 3 chances, and in all these 3 chances, without listening me, without understanding my part, they have rejected in an unjust way my all appeals. Even if the last time, the last and the third time, I tried through my advocate, but without the advocate's consideration or any trial in the court happened. Without that, they have already taken the decision to reject me. It means they have targeted me to push me out from the convent.
Well, the Catholic congregation has actually gone ahead and several times said that you have been dismissed on disciplinary grounds for violating their rules of living, but you are also among the few nuns who protested against Franco Mulakal, demanding action against him within the church as well as outside. He's being tried in court for charges of rape right now. How do you see this?
Yes, everybody knows that FCC had taken that decision to dismiss me out from the congregation. Only because of that, I have joined the Protect against Bishop Franco Molekil, the one who sexually abused a simple and humble and a poor nun from the congregation of missionaries of Jesus. Many times we know that. That support giving to the oppressed one is the reason, the particular reason for my dismissal is that everybody knows that also. Why it is happening? Jesus Christ himself told that we should speak out the truth and stand for the truth. That's why Jesus also crucified and accepted the death on the cross. So this is my duty, and not only my duty, the congregation's duty also this was. But they were not ready to do that. They were not ready to stand for the victimized one. They stood with the accused one, Bishop Franco Molekil. That was their wrongdoing, and in a sense it is a crime also. The reason they are telling this, that I have done great violation of the rules and regulations of FCC. Which rule I violated? I don't know. The rule of love, the rule to stand for the justice and truth. Am I violated? So it cannot be acceptable. That is why the dismissal cannot be acceptable by my conscience itself. I am nothing done against the rules and laws of the society and the constitution and the rules of the FCC congregation also. What is to write a poem and collection of poems, publishing and writing skills or driving skills or buying a vehicle for the convenience to do the social work and my apostolic work, is it a great violation of the rules of the society?
All right, we'll keep a close watch on all those developments. Meanwhile, moving on, in an exclusive interview to NDTV, former Indian batting star Sachin Tendulkar says that New Zealand will have an advantage, having already played 2 tests in England, but India needs to convert 50% chances.
Now, let me ask you about, India playing New Zealand in this cycle. In the last 2 years, the only series that the Indian cricket team has lost is against New Zealand in New Zealand, and now, as luck would have it, they are playing them in the final of the World Test Championship, but on a neutral venue. Do you think the Indians will be able to have their revenge, turn things around?
No, I mean, see, ups and downs are there. If we lost in New Zealand, doesn't mean that we're going to have a tough time here also. I mean, yes, it is going to be competitive, but that doesn't mean that New Zealand is going to beat us again. They will have to play good quality cricket to beat India, and for Indians also to beat New Zealand, we will have to play well in all 3 departments, be it batting, bowling or fielding. I think those 50% chances need to be converted, and without that, it's not going to happen on its own. So you have to turn up fully focused and fully ready to go out and deliver. That is not when you start figuring out things. You would have figured out the number of things already, and then you go out and deliver.
Playing England in the lead up to the World Test Championship final, many say that New Zealand will come in with an advantage, but what do you think? Will there be a definite advantage for them?
See, when it comes to understanding conditions and familiarizing yourself with those conditions, it's going to happen faster with New Zealand team, without any doubt, because the weather in New Zealand and the way it is in England at the moment, it's very much, like being in New Zealand. Had it been in UAE or any part of Asia, right, we would have acclimatized much faster than the Kiwis. So I believe New Zealand will acclimatize to those conditions much faster, because back in New Zealand also they experienced similar conditions. Had the finals been in Sharjah or Dubai, anywhere in UAE, we would have acclimatized much faster compared to them. So, but eventually, the guys have toured England. You take it from the senior most player to the junior most player in the team. They have either played test matches or India A matches there. So they're familiar with conditions. So it is all about getting enough practice, enough match practice. But due to various challenges, primarily because of pandemic, we've not been able to get there well ahead in time. But we've got some days. We've had a simulated match also. So those kind of things will help to a certain extent. But to be honest, there is no better practice than playing actually 2 test series before this match. So it's obvious that they have that edge.
Well, the first death anniversary of the Galwan clashes and at the hometown of Colonel Santosh Babu at Suryapet in Telangana, State Minister K.T. Ramarao unveiled a 10-foot bronze statue and renamed the chalk in the martyr's name. Colonel Santosh Babu's wife has been given a government job. The family was also given financial aid and a house site last year. With that, we're slipping into a very short break. We'll bring you all the updates from the market on the other side. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let's get you an update on what's happening with the markets today. After a flattish opening, the Sensex is in the red, almost 100 points down, trading at 52,675, down 0.18% as of 9:50 this morning. Let's get you the top losers on the Sensex. Let's see the top losers. Okay, India Bulls Housing, Hindalco and Adani Ports SEZ continue to be the top losers. India Bulls Housing is down 3%, trading at 299. Hindalco trading at 381. Adani Ports SEZ trading another 2%, down just above 740. JSW Steel, Vedanta and Hero MotoCorp all in the red. JSW Steel trading at 1.9% in the red at 711. Vedanta trading at 267, down 1.35%, and Hero MotoCorp trading at 2,985, also in the reds. Okay, top gainers, IOC, UPL and Wipro all in the green. IOC is trading almost a percentage point up at 116. UPL trading at 847, up 0.7%. Wipro picking up 0.4%, trading at 560. Let's get you an update on the Adani Group stocks. Okay, so all in the red. Adani Power, Trans and Green Energy all in the red. Adani Power trading almost 5% negative at 127. Trans at 1369, also 5% in the red, and Green Energy 0.6% in the red, trading at 1200. Let's get you the oil and gas stocks. GAIL India in the green, 0.3% gains at 163. ONGC 1.40 points up at 126. Oil India 0.8% up, trading at 150. Let's get you the banking stocks now. SBI and PNB both in the green. SBI 0.4% up now at 431. PNB trading at 42, slightly up by 0.12%. IT stocks, Infibeam Avenues is up 0.80%, trading at 50. India Mart Intermesh is down almost a percentage point, trading at 7,330. Just Dial is up almost a percent point, trading above 1,000. So that's the Sensex as of now, down 64 points, currently trading at 52,700. This is the latest as far as the markets is concerned. We'll keep a close watch on the markets and bring you all the other top stories on the other side of a short break. Stay with us.